What the fuck is this extra deck? What the hell have you done? What have you done? What have you done to my ex? Oh, this isn't Dragon Link. This is Dragon Maids. Okay. Okay. The extra deck is starting to make more sense. With no fusions. Oh, for fuck's sake! God damn it!
I mean, this is Dragon Maids. This looks more Dragon Maids. Oh, wait, where are your fusions? Oh, this is the Link event. Oh my god, what are you doing?
So, full disclosure, I did not play this deck for content or for the memes. I had other real Link decks I could use, like Tri-Brigade, Live Twins, and of course B-Troopers. I tried them all. The deck I used with the best win rate was frickin' Fusionless Dragonmaids. I literally gave up on trying to climb with Live Twins after I got nipped too many times and just D-ranked to Diamond 4. And I just full sent Fusionless Dragonmaids all the way to D1, and it was by far my best performing deck. So like one of the things I like to do during these special events is use a deck such as Dragonmaid that's very obviously weakened by the restrictions. But I want to see if I can make it work using cards and strats that I normally would never touch with a standard ban list. So I think it's one of the fun things to do to break up the monotony of this game, which is mostly just grinding rank mindlessly with standard builds. So anyway, here's a Dragonmaid deck with 20 cards in every Dragonmaid deck and a bunch of hand traps. So what actually makes this deck really good in a Link format, and what makes this deck have a good matchup against pretty much every Link deck, is Hieratic Spheres, Dragonmaid Tiding, and abusing Phantasme. So Spheres and Tiding, they're just bounces, and bouncing I think is the best form of removal against Link based decks. There are so many decks that have monsters that trigger if they have based on cards being sent to the grave, like Tri-Brigade or Salad with Gazelle, and this just bouncing there's normal summon just denies them that and pretty much rids them of most of their extension. And of course, you know, Link monsters are extra deck monsters that can just be removed by bouncing as well. Crusadia OTK, for example, almost never OTKs you, because even if they kaiju your spheres, you can still summon a dragon monster to bounce with Tiding, and you just bounce back their first Crusadia Link monster, and then they have no more plays. Especially Spheres is so strong. Like, people will scoff at just making Spheres pass. Like, if you think about it, resolving Heavenly Spheres is like resolving a Tri-Brigade Revolt. I'm being serious. Spheres is a non-targeting removal that also gets you an insane follow-up by getting any monster you want out of your deck, and all the monsters you get out of your deck plus you. Combine that with Tidying as well to reuse your monsters, and that's where Phantasme comes in, because I believe Phantasme is the strongest card, the strongest hand trap this format. It's not as vulnerable to stuff like Called By as well. Obviously Maxi is better when it resolves, but it resolves a lot less often than Phantasme. And Phantasme just lets you dig to your deck for more hand traps, and it puts a body on the field for you to use. So, you know, if you're not like Live Twins and you can actually make use of the monster on board, that's a plus. And in this deck, it's even more powerful because DRAGONMAID Titan, you can target any dragon monster, so you can bounce back Phantasmes and just keep using them on your opponent every single turn. It's insanely oppressive against link-based decks. Not to mention, this deck's best ideal end board is Spheres plus Tidying. So if you don't want to get a DRAGONMAID monster out, if you're scared that your opponent's playing like Spiral and they have a lot of extension, you could Hieratic Spheres, bounce your card, summon a Phantasme out of your deck, then Tidying, bounce one of their other cards, put the Phantasme back, and then if they want to extend further past 2 bounces, you're going to have to extend into a Phantasme in a deck that plays 17 hand traps. That's just extremely powerful and hard for any link-based deck, especially even this one, to deal with. So a DRAGONMAID lineup is pretty standard. We're running Kitchen and we're running Black Metal Dragon with Red Eyes Darkest Metal because, you know, they banned Pot of Extravagance and Pot of Prosperity, our consistency cards. So I just want to max out on as many good to decent starters as possible. Even Kitchen kind of sucks if you don't draw up another DRAGONMAID card, so that's why we're also maxing out Hospitality. This is the hand trap ratio I decided on. I believe Valor's is much better than Imperm in a format. In a deck where you're using Phantasme, Valor is a live draw off of Phantasme, whereas Imperm is a dead draw if you Phantasme. Also, Valor is a spellcaster you can revive back with Selene to go into access code. So this deck is 44 cards. The 4 extra cards I added were Bell and Crossout, mainly because this deck loses to exactly 2 things. One is Umi control going second. It's bad matchup. It's nothing much you can really do about it. They win the die roll with setup to Kaiyusha and you can't really do anything. And the second thing it loses to is Call by the Grave on Hieratic Spheres. That's the only real effective way to stop this card, and it's devastating when they do it. You just lose all your cards and all your follow up if they called by your spheres. So I added Ghost Bell and Crossout for protection at the same time. I think I maybe Ghost Belled a Crossout or Ghost Spelled a Call by on my spheres once in my entire climb all the way to Diamond 1, so theoretically, statistically, if you want to cut these and just make the deck 40, you can. Although Ghost Spell itself is a card that I underestimated, like it overperformed so much this format. There's at least one good hit in every popular Link deck being played. Like it hits the dive spell in Marincess, it hits Ray, Shark Cannon, and Kagari in Striker, so this card's insane versus Striker. Against any Link-based deck that just tries to turbo out access code, you hit the trans code and they can't kill you that turn. Even Salad, like, you stop them from adding back stuff from your grave. I was actually really impressed with Ghost Spell. And Imperm is just a cross-out target, so you could just cut Imperm and cross-out, honestly. We're also running triple big dragons. Since there's no fusions, we're just need more big monsters to basically make aggressive pushes with. And having all three dragons is actually 8,000 exactly. And having one of the 2 level 8 dragons plus access code is also 8k. And the one card you may be questioning is Boot Sector Launch. As you can tell, there are no Rogs in this deck. It's by design. This card does not have enough useful effect that you use on field. However, this format is heavily filled with lightning storms and even Raigekis. And that's one way to play around spheres, is to just lightning storm the spheres, and then you have no card to bounce, and your spheres dies and you don't get anything from it. So Boot Sector Launch is just a way to always have a face-up card to trigger spheres with, so that you still get the E-Telly from deck with it. Also, Boot Sector Launch protects your Black Metal Dragon from Ash. You go Black Metal into Striker Dragon, Chainlink 1 Black Metal, Chainlink 2 Striker. They cannot Ash your adding of Red Ice. And Red Ice is a really powerful card in this deck. Especially, you can reuse it with Tidying, you can resummon back all your Dragon Maids every turn. It's a really important card to just add to your hand. And third, a lot of people don't know that, like, they're playing against a Dragon Maid deck in the Link event. They don't know exactly what's in the gate, so you have a 50% chance of whenever you just go into Striker Dragon, they're just wasting an Ash or Infirm on you adding basically a useless card in your hand. So, I mean, feel free. You just play through a disruption without doing anything. Also, this is a card where you can put back a Phantasme too, so to have a free draw 2. It's a lot of random utility this card has for, I think it's worth the 1 brick. And the extra deck, 2 Striker Dragons. Honestly, miss the third sometimes, but you basically just turn all your small dragons into this, so you can revive them with revival spells or banish this for Red Eyes, so you don't have to banish a real card. Twin Triangle. This is part of the Link Climbing package. Twin Triangle and 3 separate Charmers. What Twin Triangle does is 2 level 4 lower dragons. You summon it, you just revive level 5 or higher dragon from your grave. So it's just it just gives you making this gives you a Link 3. Same with the Charmers, we're using every attribute of Charmer except for, well, we're using Fire, Earth, and Dark. We're not using Wind because there's really not very many good Wind targets to revive. I think there's really only Hayate and Nerval, and if you can revive Hayate or Nerval, chances are there's another attribute you could revive anyways with one of these Charmers. So it never really comes up. And these Charmers can also, if you always have at least two spells, you search Boot Sector and you usually search a Dragon Hospitality, so if your opponent provides a third spell, you can turn any of these Charmers into a Selene if you drew into a Veiler and revive Veiler, and that's another way to access code. Appaloosa and IP. So this is another sort of small reason I think this deck is really good in Link Festival, because it plays into Max C and Nibiru a lot better than the other Link decks. Like, your opponent Max C's you only give them 2 draws, and then you still end on a board of Seals plus Tiding, which is 2 disruptions for 2 draws, which is much better economy than something like a Salad deck or Rince's deck gives you. And you're pretty much, if they want to shotgun Maxi before you make your Striker, before you not change to a revival spell, then they're free to just neg a card out of their hand for nothing, and you still set Tidying and have like your 17 hand trap that you run in this deck. So good luck to them. And for Nibiru is very rarely ever good against this deck, especially since you do a lot of your summoning during the battle phase where they actually can Nibiru, and then as soon as you go to main phase 2, you have player priority to initiate an action, so you just make Seals as your first action entering main phase 2 if you suspect Nibiru, and then that just plays around the entire card. Because if they Nibiru seals, it's worse for them because you just get like a red MD or you get a nurse from your deck, and then that's just 2 extra bodies. And with another extender or another used Dragon Maid, you can end on not just spheres, but you can end on spheres plus IP through after Nibiru. So their Nibiru actively helps you. And then you can do stuff like going to Appaloosa or Unicorn or even Goddess on their turn with the IP. I did that at least once. Yeah, the Underworld Goddess is also, it's here because it's Royal Rare. And then outside the Nixer Towers, which I didn't see one of this my entire time, so probably not actually that useful. And access code is one thing a lot of people may think is this deck without fusions, it doesn't really have as much of a aggressive push or a way to push through damage, and that's just not true because once again all the link climbing package to go into access code and just having big ass dragons like 4 just huge attack dragons plus Phantasme to push through damage, you really, this deck has a very high damage capability, even OTK capability that you wouldn't expect from just a deck that normal summons Chamber Dragon Maid, you know, and can't go into Shell or House. So we're gonna show exactly how this deck claps the most popular decks this format in the Link event. A few replays coming up. Okay, so first replay, playing against Salad. We're gonna get our Maxi Ashed because that's what always happens. It's just how Master Duel works. So they're gonna add Mir. Interesting. I mean, I guess. I guess this works. Yeah, Sunlight Wolf and into second Sunlight Wolf. Into Reset Roar. Add back Circle. Set 2. Yeah. Okay, so very important. I try to bait him with 2 seconds, doesn't work. We're gonna normal summon Chamber Dragon Maid, but we're not using the effect because if we use the effect and get roared, then this Tidying is dead. Tidying is how we're gonna get back in the match by reviving this and using this Chamber Dragon Maid multiple times. So we're just gonna have to let it. We're just gonna have to like not search. So you're gonna. I'm just gonna call by the second Sonic Wolf in his grave so he doesn't get any of the add effects back for this turn. And we're gonna Ash the Circle to keep him off of Gazelle. It's gonna go into Heat Leo. Target our Tidying. We're gonna chain Tidying so it doesn't shovel back in the deck, and he's gonna roar that clearly, which is fine. He's gonna run over our Chamber. But this is fine because I mean that's a pretty good draw, but we're gonna Tidying to bring back our Chamber. They're gonna imperm it. We'll go into Striker and revive the Chamber and go into Spheres. And now if they don't have anything to do with the Spheres, then we can snowball our advantage. And they don't, so our Spheres are gonna kill their Helio. Next we're gonna get a Parlor to dump another Tidying. Tidying's gonna bring back the Chamber. We're gonna get another Search of Chamber. And our turn we're gonna summon a Chamber again and get another Search of Chamber. And go into Striker Dragon just to be able to revive the Parlor again. We're gonna Foolish a couple big dragons. Just put on the pressure. Put them on the clock. And I'm just gonna go to another Spheres, this time back with Tidying. reproduce this board every turn. It's really hard for opponent to deal with. They're gonna Raigeki, and because that is not gonna do anything because we can just tribute our spheres to add back the root sector, and then get another surge with spheres, and they just can't deal with the advantage every turn. So next replay, we're going up against another popular deck of this event. But we're gonna normal summon Chamber. It's gonna get max seeds, and I'm not gonna give him 3 cards just to go into spheres. So we're just gonna add a Tidying and pass. Opponent's Pot of Desires, it should tell you it's either Marincess or Waifu, and it's Marincess. We're gonna go into Blue Slug. So this time I chained Phantasme right away. I know that the standard line of play puts them 2 Link 2s or 2 Link 1s on the board, which so I can get another draw of Phantasme, but I want to try and draw into a hand trap in order to negate the Link 1, even though if it gets me 1 less draw. Doesn't matter because they have Ash, because why wouldn't they, It's Ash, the bane of my hand trap existence. Add the dive, yeah. And they're gonna do their whole line of play. Battle Ocean. And in the Coral Anemone, I figure I might as well just. I don't think it really matters when I have Tidying. They're not always gonna end on their Link monster. I just want to get in the grave. Yeah. Enemy bring back that. They're going for the Crystal Heartline, so they're gonna have a Towers Argonaut. Now, you're gonna see the strength of Dragon Maids against this particular line. Normal summon Chamber, it's gonna get I don't really care. I already have both my search targets in hand. Striker. They're gonna maxi to the Striker, which is really odd because they know I have a Tidying grade that I can just chain to the maxi to rob them of 1 draw. Now we're gonna go into Spheres and set Tidying. And now, opponent's draw phase, we're gonna Spheres, getting rid of the Battle Ocean. Now, their Argonaut is no longer immune, and we get a search to get Nurse to bring back Chamber to get another search. And then we're just gonna be able to chain Tidying to the activation of Battle Ocean, and their Towers is gone. So if they don't go through the line where they search, for instance, Wave Trap card, and Spheres plus Tidying out their entire board. They're gonna dive, we're gonna go spell it. They're gonna have to play into our hand traps right now, which is including a Phantasme, which is really hard. They have a second dive because why do I even bother hand trapping them? Like really? I'm just, since they already used dive, I'm just gonna wait until they put out their 2 Link 1s on board to get 3 draws off Phantasme. Yeah, summon Sea Angel, get Phantasme, draw 3 cards, draw into the maxi, and that effectively ends the game. Either end their turn and die, or they play into maxi and die. Yeah, and they're waterlocked, so we don't have to worry about any access code stuff. Splash Raid is Water Link, interesting. Raid Bubble, Reef, and they're really going all out. I'm gonna summon Lorpar, then damage Seb, we're gonna discard Tin Kek, make our Dragon 47, then kill their Reef in battle. Yeah, these replays really just showing me going through the gauntlet of the top tier Link decks to this format. Our opponent's on Striker, they're just gonna summon Ray into Shizuku. And they're gonna Pot of Desire second after summoning Ray Rose. Interesting. We're gonna Valor the Shizuku. And they're gonna turn into Hayate, might as well make it something that does something during my battle phase. So we're gonna summon Black Metal into Striker. Black Metal's gonna add as our red MD. And we're gonna summon red MD, use the effect, and they're gonna Eagle Booster and then Chain Droplet. Which is kind of annoying because now my red MD is too small to run over to Hayate. They're also gonna snipe my callback with an MST. And then draw into engage, yep. And then Afterburner, we're gonna chain our Tidying to save our cards. Summon Ray, they're gonna Ray into Hayate, of course. Dump Area 0, that Kagari, bring back the engage, you all know what happens here. Engage, add Widow Anchor. Going to Shizuku. I think our opponent got a little too excited there. They didn't set the Widow Anchor for some reason. But I guess you'll see very soon why they didn't. We're gonna try to activate power. We're gonna get Max Seed. So we're gonna Tiding, and it's gonna get Ghost Bell. Alright, then they're gonna Lance. Yes, we can't red MD. That's alright, sick. Sick, bro. Nice 3-card hand loop. Next, they're gonna summon Ray and be unable to deal with a Lord Power, so we're just gonna get to resummon our power and get a free effect. And they're gonna Zeke our power, which is completely fine. And multi-roll and go into Shizuku again. Now they're gonna add Shark Cannon to. They're gonna attempt the Shizuku shuffle to reset Shark Cannon, but I don't think that's really that good against this deck with, you know, chainable, non-targeting grave revival spells. So I can just chain the Tidy to dodge the Shark Cannon, and they can reset the Shark Cannon, sure. Well, now I've summoned the power again, get the chamber again, get another Tidying. Go to another Striker. We're gonna bait him with the Hospitality, so they're gonna get the banish our chamber engraved, but we want to summon the Kitchen hand in the first place. And Kitchen's gonna add us. I mean, I kind of messed up here. Like I'm just clicking buttons. I forgot I didn't have a small maid, so I just summoned the red MD, and then my timer was getting hella low. So I was trying to bait out his Widow Anchor as much as possible without losing the time. Well, yeah, we're just gonna attack over our own Dark after they Widow Anchor to get a second Black Metal because that's their only search target. Yeah, our opponent's gonna re-add engage. They're gonna reset Widow Anchor. They're gonna activate engage for the 3rd time to get another Shark Cannon. Although at this point they really just cannot deal with our big ass dragons because they've already gone through a Kagari. So summon Nurse. It's gonna get. I really don't care. Activate and to get Infirm. All right, sick. Activate the Tidy and Grave. You know, we're always sending for Grave this turn. Kitchen, add Earnest, dump Earnest. Now we're gonna go into our second Charmer of the game, Hida, to bring back the Kagari. And we're gonna go into Celine because we drew a Valor, so we're gonna be able to revive the Valor and then go to a 5300 access code. Pop. Dude, their Shark Cannon is really not doing anything. Gonna pop their Shizuku, and then call by their Ray, and that's game. Final replay. This is right before my promotion game into D1, and I denied someone else's promotion, so that always feels nice. Our opponent's on Tri-Brigade. Summon Kid into Almirage. Kid is gonna dump Nermal to add Karas. And now, if this Baylor resolves, the turn is ended since they already extended Karis, which it does. Sick. Alright, so I'm feeling really good myself right now. We're gonna pop their Almirage just cause. We're gonna Black Meadow the Striker, add the Boot Sector and the Red MD. And there is a way to lethal probably here, but I just figured if I can set up Seals Tidying against their 3-card hand, it's probably good enough. So we're gonna Red MD, summon Chamber, add Hospitality, add Parlor, dump a couple big dragons, and we're just gonna put up some pressure on him. So our opponent reveals they have Evenly. Alright, so I'm gonna like to keep Earnest. Then they have Nib. So they have Nibiru plus Evenly. If it was just one, I could at least end on a Tiding as an interruption. But, you know. And of course they also have another Tri-Beast to draw. So, opponent's just really good at this game. Fortunately, they don't have enough beasts in their grave to kill us. So, I'm just gonna go into Rugal in order to search their Revolt. And our goal is to live past the next turn for past this one Revolt. Our hand's not the greatest, so we're gonna Chamber to add Hospitality to summon our Parlor and dump another. We're just trying to do as much as we can. Maybe try to bail out Revolt early, and our opponent doesn't bite, he's smart. So we're gonna end with a Parlor, and we're gonna they're gonna Revolt. And as soon as they summon Shurag, we're gonna chain Tidying. Yeah, we're gonna chain Tidying, bouncing back our Earnest. Earnest is how we're gonna live. And this shows another advantage of the deck where it's really hard to kill because of all of our revival effects that we can do during your battle phase. So yeah, opponent gets the Karas. We're gonna go into an Access Code line of Resvelg. For some reason, not seeing we don't have any small maids in the grave. Access Code, Popper, Harbor, which is fine. As soon as they enter battle phase, we're gonna Earnest, summon Chamber. You get a Chamber Surge, and then we're also gonna Tiding back on the Parlor they just killed. So we put up 2 bodies in the battle phase that Access Code cannot kill as just chump blockers. So yeah. I mean, I'm taking no damage this battle phase. And we just have to deal with their Access Code and their unknown face down. So Hospitality gonna bring back the Nurse we dumped last turn with Parlor. Just gonna revive the Parlor. And now we go into another Charmer. Charmers are so good this format. Elsa. Elsa's gonna bring back their Rugal, and then we can turn these two into an Access Code immediately. That's gonna immediately threaten out the back row, which is droplets. It's fine. Now we can summon Chamber, add whatever, Tiding, summon back another Dragonmaid, go into Unicorn, spin their Access Code, and because we applied pressure attacking earlier this match, Unicorn direct this game. So yeah, I'm not saying, you know, you should take this Fusionless build to ranks, but if we ever get a Link Festival again, this deck, one of the best Link decks, one of the best Waifu decks, especially Hieratic Seal of Heavenly Spheres, best Waifu.